Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Ellen Fleeton, a Future Students Officer at Southern Cross University. I'm joined by an amazing panel who I'll get to introduce themselves in a second. And today we're talking about studying music and creative arts. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Bundjalung Nation and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So I'd like to start with our panel. Tell us a bit about yourself. So I'll start with you, Sasha, if that's okay.
Sure. I'm Sasha. I'm a first year student here at Southern Cross University. I'm studying a Bachelor of Art and Design. And yeah, happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Where did you go to school at, Sasha?
So I went to high school at Richmond River, locally in Lismore. Now I think it's called the Rivers Secondary College now. It was great. I started university at the beginning of the year and yeah.
Loving it?
Yeah, loving it.
Thank you. And Grayson, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi. So I'm Grayson Cook. I'm the chair of creative arts, which means I have broad oversight of the degrees in digital media, contemporary music and art and design. And I'm also the course coordinator of the digital media program. And I've been that course coordinator on and off for 12 years. And within that program, I mainly teach our media production, new media units. So film production and media analysis.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us today. And just on that, can I start, Grayson, by asking you a bit about the different creative degree options here at Southern Cross? What can students study?
Yeah, sure. So the three creative degrees, they all have a similar structure in terms of compulsory and elective units. Art and design, as Sasha no doubt can go into more detail, you know, it's a broad degree in art and design. There's areas in painting and sculpture and printmaking, as well as more digital design, production, 3D fabrication, that kind of thing. Digital media is a really media and communications degree. We're looking to produce graduates who are agile, multi-skilled, have experience in audiovisual production, journalism, and journalism across written communication, podcasting, video journalism as well. And then we really want to give students skills in the commercial design, advertising world. So there's a kind of design and marketing framework within the program as well as internships and larger industry projects. And then contemporary music is precisely that. Our students play in incredible bands and frankly tour the country and the world recording and performing to audiences. They will normally specialise in an instrument and that could be straight up bass, drums, guitar, keyboards or vocals, but they could also be composition students interested in composing and songwriting for performers or for, you know, the games or the film industry. And we also have a few students who end up specialising in the more production end of things, so sound engineering, that kind of more technical end of the audio world.
Lots of different opportunities.
Correct,
I'm learning as I go too. Thanks, Grayson. The students here today will have the opportunity to do a campus tour of this beautiful campus, and I hope they'll stop by the creative facilities. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about what facilities are here on this campus and how students can access them? Can you access those amazing facilities if you're studying online as well, or just on-campus students?
Yeah, sure. So of the three creative degrees, music and art and design are offered really solely on Lismore campus, so they don't have large-scale online offerings. And they have incredible facilities. So art and design have, as I said, you know, painting and printmaking studios, 3D fabrication and laser cutting facilities, digital design labs with all the kind of Adobe suite, that standard digital production world. Then in music, we've got, world standard recording studios and rehearsal facilities. And right now, if you do go on a tour, or if you already have, we're shooting a music video in our big Studio 129 performance space. It's a hybrid performance space and multi-camera television studio. It's just a really awesome facility, full lighting grid, all of the cameras on the floor, moving camera gear, and a full sound system and projection as well. So that's, I guess, our flagship audio-visual studio. I think that's it. And your final question about, so online students, if you can get to campus, you can come to any classes, workshops that you want, you can borrow equipment. So for all of our degrees, we have a large equipment store, industry standard cameras, tripods, lights, sound recording equipment, microphones, DSLRs, the list is long. That stuff can be borrowed from Lismore campus, and we have a bit of stuff on the Gold Coast campus for borrowing as well, because we certainly, in the digital media program, our online students are really, could be anywhere, but especially are spread up around the region from, say, Coffs and Grafton up into the Gold Coast and even into Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, and those 3 campuses are, such a beautiful place that we all live and work and are quite interconnected as well, which is a great opportunity for students as well to explore more of this part of the world. Grayson, I know to get into some of our creative degrees there is a portfolio or an interview process. Would you be able to talk a little bit about what is involved in that process?
Yeah, sure. So we did used to have a folio application for art and design, but we've removed that kind of requirement now. So entry into art and design is straight up. Would that have been your experience, Sasha? I don't know if you had a folio or an interview or anything.
Yeah, so I had a folio, but it was very they just want to see that you're producing art, but if they're,
it probably used to be more of a formal requirement, but now we certainly want to know that you're interested and have some experience. Music, though, does have a formal interview process, so and an audition. So it might be a live audition, or you might be making a series of recordings of performances and sending them in. The assessors really do want to see that you've got sufficient expertise in a given instrument or voice or whatever it is to attain the required standard in the degree. And there'll be a conversation interview as well. So it's the music degree that has that kind of requirement, really.
Fantastic. And for anyone who is interested in applying for the degrees, we have our study experts in the room in the purpley grey polo shirts, and they'll be able to explain that intricate process in more detail, individual to you, if you want more information as well. Thanks, Grayson. What kind of connections does the university have with local festivals and art galleries, and how does this help students?
Yeah, so, we're really lucky in this region with the number of art and especially music festivals and writers' festivals that go on. This is a very creative region. And so we have professional connections with all of these festivals. Our students might get work, maybe often, say, blogging or doing interviews at the writers' festivals. They might get to go to Splendour and perhaps work behind the cameras or find an audio desk somewhere. That might also be the case in some of the other, like Mullum Music Festival will always have students and staff working and performing. That's the other one. Our students get to perform at many of these festivals. And with galleries, we have, in the art and design program, all of the local galleries have prizes that graduating students might be selected for. So there's prizes there's 3 or 4, so certainly one for Lismore, one for Ballina Gallery. There's a couple of private prizes that to do with art and design graduating students. And students across all of our degrees, and especially digital media, can do our professional placement unit, which is an internship program. And so through our internship program, students can get placed, again, in a writing team at a festival, and with any of the other art agencies, cultural agencies in the region. They might be working in a communications department, working in social media, so a range of roles in those local cultural agencies.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some extremely well built up industry connections here in the local region. Thanks so much, Grayson. Is there anything else you think would be useful for people that are looking at studying a creative degree at Southern Cross that would be useful for them to know about?
I don't know, ask me some questions or ask Sasha, who has the direct experience of this.
That's where I'm going next. We'll pick on you now, Sasha. As a current student at Southern Cross, Sasha, can you tell me what a week in your life kind of looks like? How often you're on campus, how often you're working in the studios, what sort of things you're producing, and how often you get to connect or collaborate with your lecturers?
Oh, it's yeah. So a week in my life, it's pretty fun at the moment, I must say. So in terms of face-to-face lectures, there's about 3 to 4 per subject. But yeah, I guess I spend a lot of time on campus because there's a lot of opportunity for study and things like in the arts room. You can sort of set up your own studio so you can practice on campus really any time during the week. So it's very flexible hours, which is great. It's a great area and environment to study in and practice in. Yeah.
Awesome. And are you working on anything exciting at the moment? Any pieces?
Yeah. So I have an art practice outside of my studies as well. So I do painting alongside of my assignments. But yeah, so the great thing about studying art and design and any creative subject really is that a lot of the assignments are really hands-on and you actually get to create things. So a lot of that can supplement your own practice as well in creative industries. So yeah.
Awesome. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about what it is, the practical things that you actually do in class? What sort of things are you learning?
So it's so diverse. There's so many different subjects that you can do. So for example, in this term, we're doing a really exciting subject called 3D printing and digital media. And so that involves modelling and sculpting anything that you like and then transferring that to a 3D printer. And then in painting last term, we had to create 2 paintings that related to each other. There's just so much that you can do, yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to any students starting out in a creative degree?
I think it's really scary starting anything new, really, but especially something to do with the arts when there's so much, I guess, opinion about it. But I would really trust yourself and trust the love that you have for the subject because that really shows and it really is... it's really rewarding and it's an amazing experience. Yeah.
That's good advice for anyone. Sasha, what are you hoping to do after you graduate? You're going to take everything you learnt here and what are you going to do with it?
I am not sure and I'm really excited about that. I think that there's so much that you can take in with creative industries really anywhere. You can do anything and it's amazing. And for me personally, I want to further my studies because I just love studying. But yeah, there's endless possibilities. Yeah.
Awesome. So now I would like to open it up to the audience to ask any questions that you might have for Grayson or Sasha.
Yeah, so for example, this term I have one online subject which is theory-based and then one that's practical-based and that will run 3 to 4 hours per week and that's face-to-face learning with lecturers. But typically there's 2 subjects, so you'll get maybe 6 hours over the course of 1 week on campus.
And it's probably worth noting, in first year, I guess you'll study, as well as a bit of art theory and the 3D fabrication. You'll do a unit in printmaking, a unit in painting, and a unit in sculpture in 3D. And then you can, through your program, you can choose to specialize and stay within one of those areas. Maybe you'll stay as a painter, but you're also encouraged to, explore the relationship between different modes of production, and maybe you'll start as a painter and start investigating some of the digital practices, for example, that might intersect with painting or printmaking practices. And so you can kind of diversify and coalesce different modes of production over the 3 years. That's the kind of the orientation of the degree, is to allow you to become interested and skilled in a range of areas, but also to really enhance that conceptual underpinning of what you do. So you're not merely a kind of a practitioner who can perfectly re-represent some succulents sitting in a bowl, but that you can think conceptually as an artist across different media forms, which I think makes you a lot more, contemporary in the current state of the art world. The current art world is a rich and complex and kind of multifarious space.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting as well, and we see that in a lot of our degrees. People come in with a very clear idea in mind of where they want to take that, and then the learning that you have when you're at university is just absolutely exponential, that you come out transformed into another person and have a totally different idea of where you want to take that. So I'm sure that would be the case in our creative degrees as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of dramatic penny drop moments
Yes.
Are the kind of thing that you certainly hope for. We don't build them in a formal sense, but I think at some point during the 3 or more years of your study, some kind of radical shift in thinking will occur. And that's a function of being in a learning environment and being kind of provided with these different perspectives and knowledge bases that university education brings.
Absolutely.
Another question for Grayson. Yeah, I'm very interested in the contemporary music there.
Oh, look, it's, each year you would probably be, maybe there's 20 to 30 students, so it's not enormous. It's not like you're one of 500 students in first year and have no, and that your lecturers don't know your name or anything. It's going to be a reasonably, intimate cohort. You will get to know both your own, the students in your year and your lecturers really well, and you'll often have, you'll have one-on-one tuition as well. That's probably the big defining factor of the music program. So even though you might, be in a class with 30 other kids some of the time, you'll also have direct one-on-one instruction for some of the time in your instrument. To the best of my knowledge, one or the other. Yeah, I know they do hold auditions on campus here, but I also think that sometimes people have just sent in a tape. So I think it's a mixture of both.
And with the subject itself, because you can kind of audition, specialise for focus on performance or songwriting or production, in the course itself, do you still do a good amount of all three of those things? Yeah,
you will. Yeah, absolutely. And because there's, say, things like ensembles as well as individual tuition, you'll need to play with others. You'll have the opportunity to collaborate and vary what you do. And there are some units which are explicitly designed to get you out of your comfort zone and to say take a second instrument up. Yeah.
Well, I would like to say thank you so much to our wonderful panellists for joining us, and to our audience. We would absolutely love to welcome you to our beautiful university community. So please don't hesitate to ask us any questions that you might have. Thank you for being an awesome audience. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.